Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 94 of the 40k Badcast. My name is Dan Boyd, and I'm joined, as always, on this WrestleMania week 2021, the man of 1,000 holds himself, Dean Malenko.
I mean, I guess, well, that's all. Never mind. I had a joke-adjacent statement about holds at the library I was going to make, but that's just telling on myself harder than ever, isn't it?
Wow. Oh, yeah. No, that's what that means. Dean Malenko, known for his bookishness and not his wrestling prowess whatsoever.
Famously literate professional wrestler.
I chose, I mean, I'm pretty sure Dean Malenko can read there, Campbell. Why don't you chill the hell out?
Oh, I'm thinking great Malenko. Sorry.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. A little tie-in there to our ICP coverage, a little Malenko, I think, real ones will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, our real clown heads will know what's up.
I was at the grocery store the other day, and I heard the song Electric Avenue. Okay. Mm-hmm. And again, this is for the real ones. This is for the bad boys out there. That song is forever burned into my mind as West Verner Avenue, the ICP smash hit. We're going to ride down to West Verner Avenue and open fucking fire.
Now, when you left the grocery store, did you burn some fucking tires in the parking lot?
Oh, you bet I did. My 2011 Subaru Outback. Automatic. What's up?
Love to peel out of the parking lot in my mid-size SUV.
hey, it's a station wagon, okay?
Ooh,
so you better.
It's a tall station wagon.
You better get it right. The Forester is, I believe, the taller version is the SUV. Though I don't fucking know or care. Interesting. Right, it's a station wagon. I like to call it a soccer mom car.
Oh yeah.
When you think of me, listeners, think of soccer mom.
I mean, I'd say think of soccer's mom, because I drive a Kia Soul with a plush bee hanging off of the rearview mirror.
I got to tell you, bud, the Kia Soul, whenever I see one, it's like, I know that the person driving it is just a complete dog shit driver, because the Kia Soul is like the worst car ever made. And anyone who drives it cares nothing about driving.
Hey, I've only gotten in one car accident in that Kia Soul, all right?
Hey.
So far. The year is still young.
Yeah. It's only April.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Enough of this bullshit, huh? Let's do a show about Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
All right, let's check in to the Auspex. Into the Auspex? There's a hotel now? Yeah, the Auspex Hotel.
Yeah, the Auspex Inn.
Where we talk about what's on our hobby radar. Start with a little bit of hobby progress. Campbell, I'm still working on these Van Vets, but I just haven't had a lot of time to paint miniatures lately.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It happens.
Yeah, real life does happen, unfortunately.
I hate it. I don't want it to happen anymore. I want fake life.
Stop the ride. I want to get off.
All right, what have you been working on?
A lot more than that.
Naturally.
I painted up those two retro Orlocks that I think I talked about them a bit last time.
Yeah.
But if you go over to Goonhammer for their Goonhammer 96 coverage, you'll see at least a tutorial on how to paint my Goliaths. And I'll probably knock out an Orlock tutorial for them soon enough, because it took a bunch of pictures. May as well. On top of that, though, I built my one squad of 18 untamed beasts for Age of Sigmar, which is the most muscly of muscle bunches. And
isn't that the Warcry group?
Yeah. Well, all the Warcry groups are available to Dave Stark's armies as just regular ass cultists.
Yeah.
And I already had the Iron Golems, so I got them for Christmas, and I just knocked out the first 9 of them. They were a lot of work for 70 points of chaff, but I love how they came out. And it was a lot of fun to knock out the first 9. I decided to change gears after that first 9.
On the back 9?
Yeah, actually, quite literally, yes. And I started building. I had a bad day, and I bought Warhammer Underpants Bad Hole, and I'm working on the Slaanesh ones right now.
You had a bad day, and that was caused by buying Warhammer Underpants?
I had a bad day. Bad day. Took my pants off, and then I had a bad day at work, and I just.
Is that the lyrics to that song?
I have no fucking idea.
Okay.
That's just what I thought they were. Anyway, yeah, I had a rough one, and I went to Modern Games, and they had Warhammer Underpants Bad Hole, so I went and picked that up.
Retail therapy, man.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
It works for people. Not just fake people on the internet, but real people on the internet like you.
Yeah, and then I drank some beer in a parking lot. It was great.
Anyway. Wait. Did you drive your Kia Soul to the parking lot to drink beer and then
My wife was there with me. She drove.
Okay. Don't drink and drive, gang.
Do not drink and drive under any circumstances. So yeah,
a friend of mine got a DUI years ago. And they had to put in the breathalyzer in their car. It cost $9,000 to install.
Jesus. That's more than a 2016 Kia Soul. Aside from that, I did get in a pre-order for Cursed City, which I know is hard to get your hands on because they made like 12 of them, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, I should be picking that up whenever my store gets that in, which should be this weekend, but I'm not sure yet.
Well, let's hope. I've seen a lot of cool stuff come out of that box. I did not get a copy of Cursed City.
You and many others.
Because, well, I didn't try to get a copy of Cursed City. I should amend that.
Well, that's where you fucked up.
Well, no, I don't think it's where I fucked up because I have too much shit to paint. And I'm saying I'm not buying any more shit until more Space Marine stuff comes out.
On my my hobby progress sheet where it says like units, things bought, things built, things made, whatever, it just now has a big column that says you bought Cursed City. That's like 60 models, you fool.
Yeah, I will see our friend Alfredo. He's got a copy of it. Maybe he'll let me paint a vampire.
Hell yeah,
that would be nice of him.
All right,
but he doesn't have to. It's his stuff. It just maybe I want to paint a vampire every now and then. It's okay. Did you play any games?
I actually got in a ton of tabletop simulator games.
Did you really?
Yeah, I got in 3.
Wow.
This was this period of time is what has been a listener who actually played with Caitlin. She dubbed Adepta Constellation Week.
Okay.
Because when I looked at my calendar, this is when the past 2 weeks is when we should have been at Adepticon, having the time of our lives, throwing down with our buds. Instead, we're still stuck home, trying not to die. So, I got my first game in, which was a 40k game. It was me playing Ultramarines. Caitlin was playing Orcs. It was 50 power level, and we played with secondary objectives. So shut up.
Hold up. No. Did you play with secondary objectives, or did you play with agendas?
Fuck is the difference?
It's
I thought agendas were
I guess agendas are for Crusade, huh? So you played a match. Wait a second. You played a match play game with power level.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Whatever. Who fucking cares?
Oh man. This is. I mean, like, why even play the game?
Oh,
Campbell?
You didn't use the made up points. You used the made up points. How dare you?
I mean, why even play the game if you're just not going to give a shit? If you're just going to be like, oh, fuck it, whatever. Oh, my guy's got, he regenerates. He's got 6 wounds again. Just making up rules as you go along. Fuck out of here with that, Campbell.
They're all made up rules because they are made up because this is a game. But also, we're not the ones
do you want to do
rules.
the relativism of playing tabletop games, of how everything's made up? So nothing matters, right? The rules don't matter because everything's made up. Nothing matters.
Sort of. That's kind of like the ethos of our show.
Oh, man. Getting into it early.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you over there on r/Warhammer 40k competitive getting in the weeds.
Yeah, I'm in the weeds, all right? And guess what? I don't have allergies, all right? So I can stay in the weeds all day long.
Well, enjoy your weeds. I'll be over here having fun with my friends. Well, you'll also be happy to know I didn't just strictly take shit. I owned this time. You were giving me some shit about Las Fusel Eliminators because I wanted to build up that squad with the Las Fusels.
No, I wasn't giving you shit. I was giving the idea of the Las Fusel Eliminator shit because they are shit.
Well, they did fucking work.
Ooh.
Because she took a whole bunch of buggies and like a Cult of Speed list, and I know those aren't the most durable vehicles in the world, but just like reliably pumping out a bunch of Las Fusel shots every turn was just knocking those things away left and right. Between that and my repulsor, like I was knocking out 2 buggies a turn.
And she had a lot of trouble killing the 6 wound unit, huh?
6 wound unit in cover with camo cloaks, yeah. Actually, I was rolling pretty well on my cover saves for them, and also she was killing all my other infantry because I lost most of my infantry on turn 1, which meant she had a really strong early game lead. But things started turning around on turn 3 because while my Inceptors showed up and dropped on top of a building, the same building my Eliminators were on. The thing is, her whole army was like basically buggies and bikes, and they can't go upstairs anymore. So I just kind of stood up there like Ned Flanders yelling at the kids driving around their mini bikes. It did turn around a bit, and when turn 5 rolled around, I was holding 2 objectives to her 1 and was able to rack up a bunch of last minute points, tying the game at 45-45.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a learning experience for both of us, of course, and I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with 9th edition now after playing like this in the game with Cody a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, this has been, like, getting that game in again definitely rekindled some of that, like, hobby motivation fire that I'd kind of let go by the wayside. Because it's been, even though I've been painting quite a bit.
Oh, Campbell, you fucked up, you idiot.
No, I said the words. I said the cursed words.
It's been.
That's right. That's 3, motherfucker.
The triumvirate of bare naked ladies.
You fool.
That's the thing. Yeah, there was, in Gathering Storm, there were only 3 triumvirates, but there was supposed to be a 4th, which was the triumvirate of bare naked ladies.
Yes.
So after that, I got not 1, but 2 tabletop simulator games in of AOS with Cody.
That feels good, by the way. I haven't used. Apparently, one of the listeners sent an email saying that I should have been. It's been last episode, and I missed it. Which sorry.
One might say.
Thanks, Bit Police. the fucking Bit Police in our mentions. Jesus Christ.
Fucking Bit Cops. Yeah, one might say that they are 2 words often said in correlation with one another, and forgetting that they're a joke is easy.
Feels good though. It's been a while. Since
it has been.
That counts.
It has been 7 days since you got to see.
Okay, we got to stop.
You
played Cody in AOS.
So the first game took Daves of Darkness against his goblins. He's just been going real hard in goblins lately. And you're not calling them joblins? I'd say they are joblins or even jobbers, but I can't fucking kill enough of them. So I feel kind of like I can't insult them too hard. So yeah, he did take a Gloomspite Jits list with a bunch of like 80 of the little fuckers.
Yeah,
and
that seems low.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, the thing is, when they die, you get to bring back half of them at a time out of their fucking Loon Shrine thing.
Yeah.
The problem is, Daves of Darkness don't really have much in the way of killing power, and I wasn't able to kill 80 fucking goblins. I wasn't even able to kill 40.
Man, but you got to stop playing Cody, my dude. That's
the problem.
He just kicks your ass up and down.
Oh, I know, and he did kick my ass up then down in these 2 games. So in this first one, I couldn't do a fucking thing. Like, I charged him with 3 of those fucking chariots, and they killed like 3 joblins and then died. But the rest of my army, fortunately, didn't die because, so the way my army's built, like Warriors of Chaos, you have a unit of 10 of them.
Yeah.
All right, they have a 4-up save, well, and 2 wounds apiece. Well, now they get to reroll their armor saves wholesale when they're 10 men or more. That's pretty good. That's pretty survivable.
That sounds broken as fuck.
It's more common in AOS than you'd think. There's a lot of like Rend 1, Rend 2 weapons around.
Yeah.
So all right, they're already durable. Well, now I've got them. They have Mark of Tzeentch, so they always have a rerollable 1-up, or reroll 1s, but now they have rerollable 4s because they're 10 men strong. Well, they have rune shields, so they have a 5-up save against mortal wounds. Even better. Well, now I can get a war shrine around them, and if its prayer goes off, they can ignore spells altogether on a 4-up. And they also have a 6-up Feel No Pain on top of that. So these guys just don't fucking die.
Yeah, sounds pretty tough.
I'm a big fan of. The problem is they don't do any damage. They hit on 3s and 3s with no rend, and they can only fight 1 rank deep because their bases are so big. So I just was not doing enough damage to actually rack up any points. So yeah, oh well. I wasn't able to do enough damage and I ended up losing. So I was like, you know what? I want something with a little bit more killing power. The new Heathen Knights of Slaanesh stuff, it's got a lot of rend. It's got a lot of like ranged attacks, got a lot of fast moving attacks. Let me take those guys instead. And they did do a lot of damage. And whoo, buddy, do they die fast. It's just a bunch of like really expensive units with shit saves, fast expensive units with shit saves, and a bunch of summoning abilities, which are cool, but I wasn't really able to get off. Like turn one, my Keeper of Secrets dies. Sweet.
I hate it when you can't get off.
Yeah, I hate it when I can't get off. I hate it when I can't keep my secrets. I hate when that I can't keep the secret that I can't get off.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry. I'm stacking. I am stacking metaphors like I was stacking armor save rerolls in my previous game. All right.
Okay, that's another metaphor. That's good.
Hey, metaphors are better when they're mixed. All right. It's like a metaphor cocktail, which in itself is another metaphor.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I did get to learn a lot playing.
You're like
army.
a shark. You can't stop making metaphors.
Or else I'll die. Oh, fuck. All right. So yeah, I learned a lot playing this army. I could have learned more if I didn't get tabled on turn 3.
Yeah, you got to stop playing Cody, my guy.
The problem is I like to because he's a dear friend of mine. He's just good at things and I'm very bad at them.
Yeah.
But you know what? If I do end up pursuing the Heathen Knights army, which I want to, the models are really dope and having fun painting the ones from Warhammer Underpants. Like, I know I'd want the Mirmadash Painbringers, who are the dudes in plate mail, because they have like decent quality hits and they have a good saving throws that should stick around. I want the Infernal and Rapturous, who's the lady playing the harp made out of a dude. She just shuts down magic. Like, it's wild. Like, it forces rerolls of successful casts, then causes mortal wounds if they roll doubles in the reroll, which rules. Then like the Fiends of Slaanesh, which were typoed as Friends in the Tabletop Simulator mod.
Friends of Slaanesh.
Yeah, Friends of Slaanesh. Yeah, they're okay.
Love those guys.
Yeah, they got big old hulking lobster arms.
You know the Friends of Slaanesh. These guys, yeah, they're great.
Yeah, you funny guys.
Last weekend, they helped me move.
You helped me move, and you even soporific mussed up my whole house. It was great. Smells fantastic. Smells like sweat and lobsters. Yeah, they're okay at doing damage, but they're super tanky, which I like. And then the Slick Blood Sleekers, which are the dudes who look for lack of a term.
The what?
Slick Blood Sleekers. Slick Blood Sea Curs. Slippery sloth friends.
Suffer and succotash, my guy.
Yeah, those guys, the ones who are kind of like they're playing polo on the back of Seekers of Slaanesh.
Yeah,
those guys are really fucking cool. I use them against the wrong targets.
Those guys,
they're cool. Those fucking guys.
These fucking guys. Wow.
Those hash slinging slashers over there. Love them.
All right.
Yeah, you playing any games?
No.
Cool.
Not at all. It's been a little bit of a drought. I'm kind of waiting until I get the second dose of the old Vicuña to get some games in, because I don't know. Just don't really feel like it.
Nope, I get that.
Okay.
Once I get my second one, I'll try to get some in-person games in at Modern Games or something of the sort.
There you go. All right, let's talk about new stuff, huh?
Yeah, ain't too much, fortunately.
No, this will be a short one. So we got some new word bearers for the perfect game.
Ooh,
my first note about this is they're still doing that, huh?
The perfect legion for the perfect game.
Yeah, these actually look legit cool, though.
They're actually fucking nice.
Word bearers are actually. I want to take that back, because word bearer models like forever have been very good.
Yeah.
They have some of the best aesthetic out of any of the Chaos factions, and I mean they suck, word bearers. They're just the shittiest legion, but the models are good. The models have consistently been very good, and these are no exception to that rule. Especially this chaplain-looking Terminator guy. That's good.
Yeah, no, and I like the alternate head options they got going on for them too. Like, again, I'd say the Horus Heresy team is knocking it out of the park, but that implies they're playing ball.
Yeah,
I think it's.
I don't even know what they're playing over there anymore. It's a mystery to me.
9th edition.
Hey, don't write in and tell me, listeners, because I don't care. Fair. Let's move on to Sisters of Battle. We got a new character for Sisters of Battle called the Dogmata, which is, of course, my favorite Kevin Smith character from Sisters of Battle. That's a joke. That's a good joke. Did you like that movie, Dogma?
When I saw it when I was in high school and I liked it a lot, I have a feeling it probably hasn't aged as well as I
Do you think it holds up at all?
Kind of doubt it. I feel like a lot of that, like, religious people are dumb because they believe in things is kind of a dated viewpoint. But no, maybe there's still some good jokes in it. I don't fucking know.
I think George Carlin was in that movie, wasn't he?
George Carlin is in that movie, and he gives a blowjob to a guy in a truck. No,
that's the Jay and Silent Bob movie, you fucking dingus. He was cardinal who introduced Buddy Christ.
Oh. Fuck, those weren't the same movie. So, like, Clerks and Mallrats, those two are the ones in my head that stand up as, like, individual films, and the rest kind of all blend into one Kevin Smith, like, milieu. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, cool.
Dogma. I don't know. Maybe I should watch that again. But then again, maybe I should just, like, enjoy my memories of it and not, if it sucks, like, maybe it's, I don't want to ruin that for myself.
Well, I have good news. They've made movies since, and you can watch one of those instead.
Have they really, though?
They have. Most of them are Marvel movies, but they have.
I watched all the Marvel movies during the pandemic.
Oh, dang.
Just went from start to finish. Just fucking put them on the old computer while I was painting.
I think they're good painting material, yeah.
Yeah, you don't really have to pay attention.
Yeah, you can just look up and say, that guy with the cape said something funny and punch the other guy. Sweet.
Did you watch that Zack Snyder cut of the old Justice League?
Oh, man. You think I have a 4.5 hour attention span at this particular juncture?
No, I don't. I don't think you care about DC heroes at all, do you?
I love Batman the Animated Series. I like the Bruce Timm Paul Dini take on Batman.
Okay.
And I've liked quite a few Batman comics in my time, but the Zack Snyder films I'm not really buck wild about.
Okay.
I like Joker, okay.
We were talking about this on Discord the other day. 300, remember 300?
I do.
That movie came out in 2007. I saw it in theaters because I'm a big comic book guy, right? Mm-hmm. And Frank Miller in 2007, again, I was a big fan.
Yeah, in 2007.
Now in 2021, Frank Miller is a turd. In that movie, I remember fondly 300 again in 2007. Right. But I feel like it's another movie that I don't want to watch because I'm just going to watch it and be like, oh, this is really, really embarrassing that I enjoyed this 14 years ago.
Yeah, it's very colored by the time it was made in. But speaking of things colored by the time they were made in, have you ever read Frank Miller's Holy Terror?
No, I have not.
That was the one that was going to be Holy Terror Batman. And then DC was like, no, we're not going to let you write a comic where Batman fights Al-Qaeda. So he made his own not Batman character. And it's super xenophobic and super fucked up. And I paged through the comic book store and promptly put it back on the shelf, never to be seen again.
There you go. All right, yeah, so the Sister of Battle, Dogmata, whatever. She's basically a chaplain for the Sisters of Battle, which I feel like the Sisters of Battle, they're just getting all the Marine units at this point. They got the Paladite, whatever, who's a lieutenant.
They got the Predator, essentially.
Yeah.
They already had the better Whirlwind. They're getting the chaplain. It's fine.
And we've seen their battle suits. So
yeah.
I guess, they're
getting Centurions.
Just, yeah, well... It's a slightly different flavor of Space Marines.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's like official.
Yeah, no, in my army, we use every part of the animal.
There you go. I still like the Sisters. Their look is fantastic. So I'm not gonna hate too much. Let's move on to the Beast Snaggas. We got a little background on the Beast Snaggas, and it's interesting. They're not like a clan. It's like a vocation.
Yeah, so it's like a cult.
Yeah, where the cults are basically the orcs' jobs, right? Like Ludas are a vocation of orcs who are just obsessed with stealing things and building things. So they do that. But I mean, Death Skulls are the clan that is most highly associated with Ludas, but not all Ludas are Death Skulls.
Right.
So these Beast Snaggas are orcs that go test their mettle against large monsters, which I think is supposed to be Tyranids.
Ooh.
Now, because they're coming out with the Caradon or Charadon books, Caradon, whatever. And that's a whole big Orcs versus Tyranids thing.
Yeah, and the Arch-Arsonist of Caradon, who hopefully they'll make a model for him.
Right? Because isn't that where the Inquisitor Cripman, he's diverted a hive fleet to? Am I getting this right?
I know the exact fucking thing you're talking about. Let's see.
Are you looking it up?
Oh, I am.
Thank you. Good. I was about to look it up, but then if you are, I don't have to.
The Octavius War, or Octavius or the Octarius War, is the one where they throw orcs and nids against each other. Because the Arch-Arsonist of Caradon is the one who, that's the orc who burned Rin's world.
Okay, well, I guess that theory's gone.
Well, it's not totally gone. I mean, how about this? There's no shortage of big shit to fight in the universe.
Anyways, these orcs, they like to fight big shit. They've got rocket spears. They've riding on squigs. They have grots hanging out with them. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty cool. Yeah. Pretty cool models. Interesting take on stuff. So I guess that beast snaggers don't have to be all snake bites, but then again, snake bites do... They match well with the beast snaggers.
Oh yeah, and I think it's a really cool update of like the old boar boy aesthetic.
Yeah, absolutely. No more cybors though, which is kind of sad. I like the cybors, but a lot of these squigs, they got metal jaws, metal legs. Yeah, we're doing it. We can get some
cyber squigs in there.
Next up, we got a couple of new AOS models. These are, I think, novel tie-in models for Black Library. With some witch hunters.
Yep, the Van Denst Witch Hunters, which is apparently what Bring Your Dar to Workday looks like in Age of Sigmar.
I mean, they are apparently Dutch witch hunters.
Yeah, they're cool models. I don't know if they do tie into a novel. I didn't see anything about that, but I think the models are dope. I'll probably end up getting them because
we're showcasing a new miniature set to star in an upcoming Broken Realms book.
Okay, so that's one of the campaign books.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a novel.
Wow.
Well... even better. They look cool though.
Yeah, no, I love the witch hunter aesthetic. Cool to add some friends of Jensen.
Oh, the lady comes with a alternate head with the classic witch hunter pilgrim hat.
Yeah, her face looks kind of like it was stung by a lot of bees. Like it's kind of puffy on the model, and I think I'll probably just give her the hat because the hat's also cool.
You're just the worst kind of person if you don't put that hat on. Normally, I advocate for bare heads. Mm-hmm. But the Witch Hunter hat is iconic.
Yeah, you can't not have the Witch Hunter hat.
It's also conical. Conical, anything there?
Iconical? Yeah.
All right.
Sure, we'll workshop it.
Okay.
We'll fix it in post.
And then finally, Blood Bowl Death Zone, another supplement to Blood Bowl coming out. I'll buy it. It looks cool. I was looking at the Warhammer community post about it, table of contents. Looks like a lot of fun stuff in there. I love that Blood Bowl, but I'm still upset that my Blood Bowl League folded before we could play any games.
Hey, once y'all get vaccinated, though, might be able to get it back on.
I'll tell you, man, I think that's what kind of has influenced my malaise in 2021 so far when it comes to games, because I was really excited about playing Blood Bowl, and then it's just like, nope, no Blood Bowl. Nope, not going to happen. And then I was like, man, I just can't get out of this funk.
Yeah, when you get the wind taken out of your sails, it's tough.
All right, well, let's move on. That was a quick one for once. Jeez.
Yeah, for once.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We make the call. This is a serious one, gang. Mm-hmm. So pay attention. This is from Alex Phillips via email. And Alex says, I'm looking to start a Space Marines army as my foray back into 40k after being out of the hobby for various real-life reasons. And with the help of my fiancé, I landed on the All Primaris White Scars successor chapter, the Storm Reapers, which I plan to run as White Scars because they kick ass. To get away from making them any East Asian but somehow still totally Mongolian theme that I see a lot of people do, looks great, but not really for me, I have decided to go with a Plains Indian themed force since there is no canon lore about the chapter's culture besides them being like the White Scars but Primaris. and it was a different way to give them a similar reverence for speed/bikes, but be distinct. With all that said, I was wondering what you guys thought about the idea of making their culture echo Plains Indians, but having a more diverse races than just Native American Indians. I'm honestly torn. Campbell, what do you think?
Okay, so I think it sounds like they're approaching this from a respectful place, and it's a rich like vein to mine, but also you got to be very sensitive with it. So like, as for the actual like Plains Indians tribes, like there were the nomadic tribes like the Lakota, the Plains Apache, and so on, and some that were more sedentary like the Pawnee or Wichita. So it'd be important to not just lump them all together into one monoculture, because they were as diverse as any vast group of people could be. And then if you look at it from like a 40k perspective, humanity is extremely diverse, even more so than it is here on Earth. So there's no reason they need to all share the exact same skin tones or aesthetics or whatever for 40k models. So I feel like whenever you're taking culture or military force or whatever from the real world and use it in 40k as inspiration, you do have to treat it respectfully and carefully. So like, if you were to try to do this, imagine you'd have like a whole plan of these tribes. So like maybe the nomad tribes be the ones that are like the bikers or the vehicle crews, while the more sedentary tribes would be the ones that be like your eradicators or intercessors or whatever. And if you want to, you can even say like each squad is kind of coming from one tribe or one type of tribe, and you could kind of use that to do squad designations and so on. But of course, if you are doing this, like, do your homework. Like, really do your homework. Don't just browse a Wikipedia article. If you're trying to, take inspiration here, I'd probably avoid using any straight up real life names of tribes or people or whatever for fear of misrepresenting them. And I would obviously avoid leaning into any jokey or stereotypical takes on these extremely marginalized people.
Yeah, I think you're giving good advice there, Campbell. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to counter with something. My take is that I wouldn't do this if I were you, Alex. Here's the thing. Using Native American iconography without providing the proper cultural context risks offending people from that culture and, kind of fetishizing or treating that culture as like kitsch.
Yeah.
Which is, the very definition of bad cultural appropriation. I don't want to assume what ethnicity you come from, Alex, but I feel that if you're asking this question, you're probably not Native American. And my issue would be like, I would hate to, take these elements from a different culture, a culture that here in America, at least, we spent decades systematically destroying and using them to decorate my toys. To me, it seems a little bit disrespectful, and without providing the context around said cultural elements, again, to me, it just seems like kitsch. It seems like a fetishization, and I wouldn't do it for those reasons. Yeah. However, the advice that you gave, Campbell, if you are going to go ahead with it, I think treating something like that with the utmost respect is absolutely necessary.
I also think that if you did want to do some sort of like tribal themed army and you want to base it on like, if I were to base an army on like, let's say like Northern European, like Picts, Celts, like those sorts of tribes, I'd feel more comfortable with that sort of thing, because again, the country I live in didn't spend God knows how long systematically exterminating them.
Right.
And it's, hundreds, if not thousands of years in the past, for one thing. You can take my advice as very general advice for doing a sort of like tribal themed army. But I do think that where Dan's coming from here is probably the better approach.
Right. And I'm not saying like don't go for like a somewhat primitive look on your Marines or whatever. Like that's okay. Just, just keep in mind, be careful with this stuff. If you're using actual Plains Indian like images and stuff, like I would be a little bit kind of squirrely on that one.
Yeah.
But if you've got like skins or feathers or, a more primitive look to the Marines, like that's, to me, like that's so general that it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So Alex, tell us what you think. Send us an email back about that answer. We'd love to have this conversation some more. And listeners, if you want to write in questions for the We Make Duh Call segment, contact at 40kbadcast.com. It's the best way to do it. We the last couple episodes, I think we had one from Twitter 2 episodes ago, and every now and then we get one from comments on our website, which of course is 40kbadcast.com. But it is rare that we do not use emails for WMDK. So listeners, if you want to get into it, send us an email, contact at 40kbadcast.com. Campbell, you ready to move on?
Oh, I am.
All right. So this is oh boy. This is the stupid sandwich, right? Actually, I think this show is not a stupid sandwich. Well, you know what? Maybe it is a stupid sandwich just so because usually our WMDK, we like to have a little fun sometimes, right?
Usually,
but that was a serious one. And then after this segment, we're going to go into Crusade Focus Drukhari, which I'm very excited to talk about. That's not stupid. But then generally sandwiches are defined by what is inside the sandwich. And this time, the stupid is inside.
The stupid is coming from inside the house. Yeah.
Yes. We're talking about shitty Necromunda territories.
This is one I was very excited to propose to you.
I want to start off, Campbell. Everything in Necromunda is shitty.
Yes.
Literally everything, everywhere. There's nothing good about the entire planet.
No, it's a garbage planet full of garbage people.
Even the nice parts of Necromunda, the tops of the spire, are built on the labor and suffering of untold billions.
And they're also still kind of shitty.
They certainly are, full of clones and all assassination attempts with all these noble houses. It just seems like a terrible place to live.
Yeah, people with most dangerous game cosplayers, or LARPers, rather.
Oh, man. I wonder if they're ever going to bring back Spirers.
I think they will. I think as bounty hunter type characters, I think they'll end up in there.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's pretty uncomfortable. Rich people hunting poor people for sport.
Yep.
It's not great. But then again, so is Necromunda.
about to say, the cops have a police brutality rule in Necromunda.
Yeah.
It's on brand.
The rule is be as brutal as possible. Okay, so let's talk about some shitty territories. Now, of course, in Necromunda campaigns, players get territories and derive their income from them. But Campbell, not every territory is desirable. So why don't you give me an example of a somewhat problematic territory?
Okay, so first off, problematic implies that I'm going to say something not okay. And what I'm going to say is totally okay, just very stupid.
Okay.
Actually, I'd say what I'm about to say might be fucking rad. Because my first proposed stupid Necromunda territory is the Archaeotek-Deck Cyber Skate Park.
I knew it.
Well, I'm inspired by Fowler's Man-Wolves. I'm inspired by the Vansar Hoverboarders. So I figure with the Archaeotek-Deck Cyber Skate Park, you get to send one champion or leader here after the battle, and you say they're going to do some gnarly tricks. And then you make an initiative check with that fighter to find out if they succeed. If they succeed, they get +1 cool for the next game, and your gang gets +1 rep. If they fail, they make an injury roll as they eat pavement.
Completely eat shit.
And I feel like if you're the Jetpack Orlocks or the Hoverboard Vansars, you get to reroll.
Okay, I didn't know we were writing rules for this segment, by the way.
Oh, no, I wrote rules. I did my fucking due diligence here.
Well, I did not, so
cool.
We're just going to have to deal with that.
All right, fine.
All right, my first one is the Penal Servitor Processing Plant.
Okay.
This, I feel, is like one of the most miserable aspects about Warhammer 40,000 in the setting, is that criminals and stuff get lobotomized and turned into labor servitors. And let's say you're the gang tasked with running this plant. And perhaps, maybe even every now and then the plant's overseers get confused and accidentally snag one of your gangers as instead of the recidivists, and maybe you get like a free servitor or something for a game.
All right, that's pretty cool. I was assuming you were going to say you meant penal as in PENAL, not PENAL. ILE, in which case that is when you get to give one of your gangers a plasma pistol that is crotch mounted like Sex Machine and From Dusk Till Dawn.
I mean, if I meant penile, I would have said penile.
That's fair.
I said penal.
That's fair.
Not penile. Yeah, man. Can you imagine
our contractual minimum of dick jokes in this episode? All right, it's so far been dick joke free.
Can you imagine you go to work every day, and at work, screaming and flailing prisoners are lobotomized without anesthetic in front of you, and then their limbs are chopped off and replaced with mechanical limbs?
Okay, yeah, that sounds like the Amazon warehouse ideal.
Oh, no.
Ooh, maybe that's one of the stupid territories.
Ooh, the Necromunda Amazon warehouse. Bring
Amazon Primaris. Oh, fuck. Yeah, well, that's the thing, is when you have the Amazon Primaris warehouse, if one of your gangers is tasked to work there, in your next battle, they have a piss grenade they can throw.
Or a gunk bomb is a bag of shit because they weren't allowed to take a bathroom break. Oh, it's not funny.
It's not funny. The exploitation of real human beings is fucking dire, and what Amazon does to people is beyond the pale. But
man,
in this particular context,
if we're not laughing, we're crying, gang.
I only laugh when I cry.
All right, what do you got next?
Here's my next dumb one. So we all know that there is extremely loud, extremely stupid music in the Warhammer setting, usually referred to as pound.
Yeah.
But I feel like what better place for loud, stupid music than a mosh pit territory? So you send as many fighters as you want to the mosh pit, and they each take a toughness test. If they pass, they gain D3 experience points as they fucking windmill their arms around the mosh pit. But if they fail, they have to go into recovery. However, the big caveat here is fighters with an intelligence rating of 6 or better cannot enter the mosh pit.
You ever, you spend a lot of time in mosh pits there, bud?
I've been tossed around a few mosh pits, yeah. Not really my cup of tea.
I remember when I was in high school is when the mosh pit karate thing started to catch on. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, I hated it.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's like people just flailing their arms, and I don't know. I would always try to tackle them. Like if there's like a circle pit going and like some guy was like flailing, you know, I'd try to shoulder block him as we were going around, knock him down, and then sometimes they'd try to fight me.
Nice, cool.
Yeah.
A guy was trying to push me into a mosh pit at a fucking Eagles of Death Metal concert, and I just pistoned my elbow into his sternum and almost got thrown out of the club.
You pissed on your elbow?
Pistoned my elbow back, clocked it back.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
if I could piss on my elbow, that requires not only a very, very flexible person, but also to drop trow in the middle of a concert.
I could do it sitting in this chair.
I guess I could too. I'm just picturing more of an arc situation. We have fun on this show.
Don't piss in your elbows, gang. All right, I got one.
All right.
Corpse starch cafeteria lunch lady.
That's a hanger-on.
Oh, yeah. I guess working at the corpse starch cafeteria, that would be the territory. It's just bad, man. It's just bad news.
I feel like that's gonna be a thing where, like, if a fighter dies in a game, for the next game you get a free slopper.
So I feel like a lot of our listeners probably were born in the late 80s or early 90s. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about kids. I think kids now have it a lot better than we did when it comes to cafeteria food.
The ones who get it, I guess.
Like nutrition in the 90s was a myth.
I mean, pizza was a vegetable when I was in high school.
Yes, and they gave us so many French fries. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could have French fries with anything. Your lunch could just be like 4 things of French fries.
Were your French fries the smiley potatoes or like more traditional shoestrings?
Traditional cut French fries. They were not very tasty at all. They used the worst, most disgusting oil to cook them in. It was really bad. But I remember specifically in middle school, people would go in the cafeteria and they would just get these lunch plates piled high with only French fries and eat that.
Delicious.
I mean,
nutritionally complex.
According to the book The Martian, the potato is really the only thing we need to stay alive. But I don't really think an all potato, salt, and oil diet is what they meant in that book.
Yeah, I think that if he did have a deep fryer up on Mars, it would be a very different situation.
It would be fucking radical. Anyways, so corpse starch in Necromunda, we're all familiar with that. It is reconstituted human bodies turned into food, because Necromunda, of course, doesn't have farms.
Necromunda slime farms.
Doesn't have traditional agriculture. And people generally subsist on the bodies of their fellow hivers, which are boiled down and ground down into paste, pretty much, and put into nutritional bars.
Delicious.
So I feel like working the old slop line at the corpse starch cafeteria would be a pretty miserable situation.
Okay. Well, you mentioned being in school, high school, and so on. And I think of what better high school hangout than the Prometheum pump station. So contrary to what you may think, this isn't for getting valuable Prometheum and selling it off for credits between games. No, it's a place for your teenage dirtbag idiots to go behind the Extramark dumpster, break some bottles, and huff spray paint. So you can send up to 3 juves or aspirants here after a game, and they'll be under a random drug effect for the next game. However, you got to roll a die. On a 1, 2, or 3, depending on how many gangers you send, they're caught by enforcers, and you need to pay 10 creds per ganger to pay their bail.
Okay, I like it. Little delinquency, huh?
No, I have a real strong theme here, and it's teenage dirtbag.
What kind of dirtbag shit did you get into in high school?
I was such a fucking goody two shoes in high school. I did not look it, but I was a fucking goody two shoes.
I did a lot of auto tech in high school, like a lot of car adjacent shit. I could never actually take the full auto tech class because it was a double period class, meaning you went every day. And I had because we had block scheduling in high school. We had Annandale colors were red and white, so we had red days and white days. But the full auto tech class was always a double period, so you had it every day. But I didn't have time for it because I was taking like a lot of other classes, including like band and shit, which always went on the same time. So,
actually, I stole a ton of shit from my high school.
You stole shit.
Oh, yeah, I stole floor tiles, door stops, keyboard keys, a guitar, science room goggles. I just stole tons of shit.
Okay, a guitar is not the same as floor tiles and a door stop.
Yeah, well, multiple door stops. And some of the actual dirtbag kids, or the more publicly dirtbag kids, stole door stops, and they got caught and suspended. And I was like, hell yeah, no one ever knew. So, yeah, if fucking Gretchen Foster, you're listening to this episode... I stole the door stops. Ha!
Yeah, when I was my dirtbag shit was all car related, so we'd like go drive to industrial areas and just like fool around and play car tag and shit.
Hell yeah.
And one time my friends rerouted their window wipers to the rear bumper so they could spray cars behind them with washer fluid.
That rules.
I was like, that's actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that's some speed racer shit.
But then they filled it with gasoline and made a flamethrower.
The problem is there's not a regulator like you have in an actual flamethrower, so that can just back up and blow your car up.
Yeah, no, it was really, really stupid. So
I just
still hilarious. Nobody died.
Yeah, that's why it's still hilarious. Yeah, I just wander around construction sites and like log yards and shit, and I still do that now sometimes. So
there you go. There you go. All right. I guess it's my turn now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There is one type of agriculture that grows on Necromunda, and I think you know what I'm going to say when I say it, but it's face eaters from Catachan. So working at the face eater farm. That's got to be a pretty bad territory. I feel like you don't really get any income from that.
No.
You more like you keep it there as a place like if you don't do what I say, I'm going to take you to the face eater farm and they're going to eat your face.
Feels kind of like a Tarantula Ranch tourist trap sort of thing.
Have we talked about face eaters on the 40k Badcast yet?
If we have, it was a very long time ago. I think we talked about Catachans once.
Face eaters are from the planet Catachan, where we know that literally everything on the planet is deadly to human life, including the plants. Face eaters are a type of parasite that kills its host. They look like a rag, like just like a piece of cloth, and they hang out in like vents in Necromunda. And they wait for people to come near, and they have this like powerful muscle spasm that sends them flying at your face. And then they latch on with thousands of tiny hooks into your skin. And then they secrete digestive enzymes that melt your face off while they absorb all of the food.
Hell yeah.
And by food, I mean your face. So the face eater farm, it's pretty dangerous, Campbell. You really don't want to be walking around there too much.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on that one.
Not good.
I feel like in a game that would be either like if you have a captive, you can either send them to the face eater farm,
and they die,
or you could face eaters could be like a kind of grenade that you can when your leader or whatever can throw.
I remember back in old Necromunda, the face eaters was like, if you're playing a game with face eaters, you have to like roll a dice whenever you go anywhere near a terrain structure, right? And like if you rolled a 1, like it was a face eater attack, and you have to roll initiative. And if you fail, the face eater grabs your face, you go down, and then at the end of the game, if somebody didn't pull the face eater off of you, you would suffer an injury or die. And the injuries were all face related injuries, which I thought was like, hey, that's really good. So like impressive scars, terrible scars, and like losing an eye were the ones. And I like that rule. I like that a whole lot. I thought that was a lot of fun.
That is fun.
There's not enough body part specific injuries though in New Necromunda to get this to work.
That's the thing. It's just like you lose -1 ballistic skill, while in the old days it'd be like, oh, you got 2 leg injuries, you have 2 bum legs, you're not like combat able anymore or whatever.
Right, unless you replace at least one of them with the fucking bionic leg,
which fucking rules.
Yeah. So shooting Necromunda territories, man. That's I don't know. I think I'd go to the Archaeotek-Deck cybernetic skate park. What did you call it?
The Archaeotek-Deck cyber skate park.
Yeah, I'd go. I'd check that out. I feel like that would be a fun one.
Oh yeah, no, like I think I might have pitched it to you as shitty territories, and then I later was like, what if it was stupid territories? And I didn't give you the memo. So you, dear listener, got both sides of the coin.
Excellent. We want to give our listeners the full experience. This is a skate park near me. I don't skate. But I kind of want to go and just like watch the kids like wipe out.
Oh,
but yeah. I can't just be an adult watching kids at a skate park if like I don't have a kid at the skate park.
Well, like I see a bunch of tweens in like Thrasher hoodies skateboarding around my neighborhood, and I am just like, my heart is so full because I'm just like, look, those young dirtbags are doing things I understand.
Yeah. Nature is healing. Yeah. I mean, I want to go to the skate park and hang out, but I can't.
Yeah.
I want to go to the Scare Kids and just be like, can I just hang out?
I've got weed.
I don't even have weed, and I wouldn't buy them beer. Just want to fucking hang out, man.
Yeah, can I just get your residual coolness, skater children?
Nah, just like, I don't know. I never spent any time around kids. I don't know what the fuck they do anymore.
Apparently, skateboard.
I've my next door neighbors have 2 kids, but I've literally never seen them. They stay inside all day. Anyways.
Cool. Cool.
Okay, let's move on to our next segment here. It's Crusade Focus, gang. It's back. We've got the Drukhari Codex out now, and we've gotten a chance to look at it. And Campbell, this is, I'm going to say it. I knew I was going to say it. I'm going to say it. This is my favorite Crusade section so far.
You know what? I don't want to give up the game yet. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's a really fucking good one.
It's really good. In this book, like we talked about it last episode, the people are very happy with the Drukhari Codex. This book is just really good. Like the way it's set up, like looking through it, they've got some really good new art in here. They've got a lot of fun background, and then the rules are just fucking solid.
Yeah.
Like It's a good book, man.
I was talking to Cody about this because he's going to be kicking my ass with this codex pretty soon. And he's saying, from what he was seeing, a lot of people were like, some people were upset because their build, so to speak, like their specific Dark Eldar build isn't great anymore. And it's like, well, bud, rules change. And things don't stay great forever. Sometimes they get better, sometimes they get worse. Just roll with it. Again, cool models are cool forever. Cool rules are temporary. So lean into the good ones here.
Well, all right, let's get into these good Crusade rules. Let's start with agendas. And of course, agendas are what you take in Crusade games instead of secondary objectives, which I got wrong earlier in the show.
Who's the pro now?
Where is
Neither of us.
I'm not a professional Warhammer, are you?
I'm not a professional Warhammer either. I'm also not a professional Warhammer player.
We're not professionals. We're just a couple of fucking amateurs. Or we rank amateurs? When you say rank amateurs, does it mean there's like a rank, or does it mean they smell bad?
I think that's a case-by-case sort of situation, but...
All right. Write in, listeners. Tell us.
And tell us which one we are.
What the answer is. Okay, let's get into agendas here. First one up, there are 4 this time. And the first one is a gruesome bounty, Campbell. Very gruesome. Very bountiful, though. A little bit of both.
And also
you get 1 XP for each unit killed in combat for each unit. You keep a tally. What kind of tally is it? A captive tally. There we go. They take captives. This is a good one. This is a really good one because I'm sorry, I call them Dark Eldar in my head still.
They're interchangeable.
Drukhari units are really good in combat.
Generally, yeah. And like, while this isn't one of the most exciting ones out there, it is simple, it is straightforward. It's still got like enough flavor that actually makes sense because Dark Eldar go on slave raids. They capture people and take them back to fighting pits, to torture, to do whatever with. So I think this is just straight up, normal, useful, solid.
Yeah, so we have to talk a little bit about Dark Eldar for a moment because Dark Eldar are... or Drukhari are, of course, the sadism elves in Warhammer 40,000. And their deal is that their souls are so corrupt and awful that to stave off immediate demonic possession, they have to create pain and misery around them all the time.
Right.
So they are constantly murdering, torturing, enslaving everything they can to stave off the eventual possession and devouring by Slaaneshi demons.
Correct.
So not good guys.
Yeah, I don't think under any circumstance could you say that they are the good guys.
Well, let's cement that a little bit more with the next agenda: demonstrate superiority, which immediately reminded me of the Dennis system from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And if there's any real world analog to Dark Eldar or Drukhari, it is, of course, Dennis Reynolds from It's Always Sunny.
Oh, fuck yeah, that's a good call.
It really is. So the Dennis system, but for 40K. This one's for real space raids only, which I'll mention in just a moment. A character and another unit from the best performing sub-faction gets 3 XP. So a real space raid is made up by an Archon, a Succubus, and a Homunculus, and a unit of Cabalite warriors, some witch cultists, and some racks, and then whatever else is in it. It is a battalion with minimum, like all of your HQ choices, all 3 of them, and 3 of your troop choices prescribed. Yeah, and in this case, the sub-faction, which is to say Cabal, Witch Cult, or Homunculus Coven, that kills the most units, the most successful sub-faction in your army, the character from that sub-faction gets 3 XP, and and you can pick another unit from that sub-faction, gets another 3 XP. And real space raids are really cool. It is a cool way to build an army. You get bonuses. You get to have multiple warlord traits, multiple relics, and your leader, your Archon, his aura can let everybody reroll hits instead of just Cabalite warriors.
Hot dog.
So
very
cool. Very cool.
It's very flavorful. It really lets you get that like jockeying for position sort of thing that's so big with all like the backstabbing that Dark Eldar are known to do. I think it's a very cool way to represent that in the tabletop.
Also big for Dennis Reynolds, interestingly enough.
Extremely.
So if you guys haven't watched It's Always Sunny, I'd say watch like 2 or 3 episodes. It could be any. Doesn't matter. There's no real story. But then take a break.
Yeah. It's a little too nihilistic for me to actually enjoy this particular juncture. Though I've watched
I love that show. I am on record of enjoying postmodernism big time, or is it not the opposite of? Doesn't matter.
Postmodernism is commenting on media with media.
Yes. Yes. So that kind of like I've always said that David Foster Wallace can huff farts in hell. So I enjoy it, but I realize that it's not for everybody.
Yep, that's fair.
Anyways, next one. It's called Take Credit. I love this one. This is probably the best one. Select a character from your army for every 2 XP that the rest of the army gets. This character gets 1 to a max of 4. And then, if that character is an Ascendant Lord, more on that later, for every 5 XP gained by other units, gain 1 raid spoils point. More on that later too. So this is great. This is just the leader taking credit for their underling success.
It's very funny and ripped from real life, I'd say.
Absolutely. And finally, we have Send a Message. This one seems kind of weak, kind of hard to do, actually. Units can redecorate, which is in quotes here, an objective to debuff nearby enemy units' leadership. This is where you have to control the objective, you have to do an action, and then it's a leadership debuff for the enemy units when they get within 6 inches. It's pretty good for experience points, but it seems very hard to actually do.
I agree with that. And you get like 1 terror tally point for each failed leadership test around it, which gets them extra experience points or whatever, or give your whole army extra experience points, actually. I think it's really cool because while, it's hard to pull off and dubiously actually effective in game because a minor leadership debuff is kind of weak, I think it's a great opportunity to convert up a spooky, scary objective marker to represent it.
Ooh,
and I think it's extremely flavorful because like this sort of thing is in the lore all the fucking time and hasn't really been represented well on the tabletop.
Yeah, they're using like cut up bodies of their foes to send a message is what it's called.
Also, I do like that it is redecorate in scare quotes.
Yeah.
Very scary scare quotes.
All right, let's move on to requisitions. First up, we got Lord of the Dark City. This is a straight up standard upgrade character requisition. In every codex so far, we've had upgradable characters or units at least, and you can't do that in Crusade without paying requisitions first. And in this case, you can upgrade an Archon, Succubus, or Homunculus to a Lord of Camorra, but they have to be a level 3 or higher, which I believe is battle hardened, heroic, or legendary. So not blooded, which is the second level of progression. So you got to invest in your characters a little bit before you can give them the Lord of the Dark City requisition.
Yep.
All right, next up, we got Chosen of the Master. Again, this is the bog standard requisition here. This is upgrading a Warriors, Witches, or Rax unit if you have a corresponding Master character. And these are, you're upgrading Cabalites to, what are they called?
Cabalite Trueborn.
There you go. Trueborn. You're upgrading Witches to Blood Brides. And you're upgrading Rax to a new unit called
Hamoxites.
There you go.
Yeah,
I knew it. Well, I was just testing to see if you knew it.
We just finish each other's sandwiches here. I think like honor guard type units like this are always super cool. And just having like that little, like, they are like straight up an upgrade. It's like +1 to hit, +1 wound or whatever, or ability to ignore damage. I like this rule. It's cool. I dig it.
It is locked behind the first requisition, though.
Yes.
You have to upgrade one of your lords to a master before you can use this one. So I don't know how much people are going to get to use it since it's locked behind a different requisition that itself is locked behind experience.
I think late in a campaign, it's a great way to kind of get those, cheapo troop units just kind of up a bit to kind of bring them up to speed with all the other leveled up stuff. I think it's really cool.
Good point. All right, next up, I love this one. It's called Soul Trap. You purchase it after a battle where your Archon has killed an enemy character in combat. The Archon gains 1 soul point. If the Archon ever gets to 5 soul points, they get +1 attack, +1 strength, +1 toughness, and +1 leadership, and they can never take this requisition again.
Yeah, I love this. They just Shang Tsung 5 dudes and level up. Like, it's so fucking cool. Soul Traps were like in the 5th edition codex. I don't know if they were in 6th and 7th, but I think they're really neat, and I'm glad they brought this back.
This is super excellent requisition. Yeah. A +1 attack, strength, toughness, and leadership. I mean, leadership, whatever. But an upgraded Archon especially with some of the relics that are in this book, could be a extremely nasty combat monster. Now, so the Succubi are the ridiculous combat characters of current 40k. You can go to Goonhammer and check out the latest Hammer of Math article on that. It's pretty scary, actually. But these are this could turn your leader character into a pretty good combat blender. All right. Next up, this is Patron of the Killing Arts. This one's simple, gang. You pay a requisition, and in the next battle, your Archon or Homunculus get combat drugs like they're a witch cultist.
Yeah, you need to have witches in your army to get it, but you're going to have those anyway.
Sharing is caring, Campbell.
This is true, especially with drugs. Non-prescription drugs.
Generally, I think this is wasted on a Homunculus because they're pretty much just support characters in this version of the game. Anyway. But an Archon, especially a Soul Trap buffed Archon with some serious relics, getting combat drugs turns into a pretty fucking scary character.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have the best name.
It's the name of our podcast, really.
A constant source of disappointment. This one's great. This one actually has a ton of utility. You remove a unit with 2 or more battle scars from your army. You gain X number of raid spoils for each crusade point that unit has.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's characterful. I love it.
It's your Archon saying, "You failed me, and you know what happens to those who fail me.
You have failed me for the last time."
Yeah, we'll get to raid spoils in a moment, gang. Just hold on. All right, that one's fantastic. Next, we got Clandestine Dealings. This is straight up spend requisition points to get the same number of raid spoils points. Again, we'll get to that. All right, next up, we got battle traits. Campbell, we got 3 of each. I'm sorry. Yes, 3 of each for 4 different categories. Characters, witch cults, Cabalites, and Homunculus Coven units. Now, I have picked a favorite from each category, and I'd like to talk about them. Have you done the same?
I just picked a favorite from Witches and Homunculus Infantry because I thought we only picked 2 favorites because I remembered previous episodes poorly.
It's okay. So characters, they can do Lord of Toxins, which I like. Wound rolls of 6 cause an additional mortal wound. You stack this on a succubus, and it's problematic. Let's just say that. Because at that point, wound rolls of 6 are like an additional -3 AP and a mortal wound and another hit or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
You're really hoping for those 6s. For witch cults, I like this one a lot, mainly because of the name Fluid Encirclement.
Same. Yeah, that's the one that lets witches, infantry and biker units do a 6-inch pile-in instead of just a 3-inch pile-in, which means you can get some real good like post-charge pile-in shenanigans in there, or just wrap units around completely and prevent escape.
And one of the great things about this is it's going to allow, like if you're charging a unit on an objective, you can wrap that unit completely, which will stop your you from taking any fire the next turn. That 6-inch pile-in move is chef's kiss. Chef's kiss? What the fuck does that mean?
Kef's kiss.
Kef's kiss. Okay, for Cabalites, we got Skilled Raiders here. This one, again, this is good. Ignore to hit roll modifiers when firing out of a transport.
I feel like there's something like that already exists for Dark Eldar, or at least there was before.
I mean, you get these Dark Lances in a Raider.
Ooh, yeah.
That thing's zipping around and you're still hitting on 3s, or if you've managed to get upgraded to a Trueborn unit, hitting on 2s with that new Dark Lance profile. It's no longer damage D6, but now damage 3 plus D3. Campbell, two words for you, brother. Yes, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say dead tank, but yeah, that works too.
All right, and lastly, we got Covens here. My favorite is multi-steroid glands, because I would like them for myself.
See, sorry, you.
This one's great. The homunculus unit gets, the Coven unit rather, gets combat drugs, but only with D3 instead of a D6, which is good because the good ones are the low-rolling ones anyways.
All right, my other one is another homunculus one, which is psychotromic brands, because the name rules, and also it gives it kind of sucks, but it's -2 to enemy psychic test within 6 inches of a homunculus infantry or monster unit, which is way too situational to be useful, but there's not really much psychic defense in this army, and again, the name rules.
Yes, and listeners, if you're playing Crusade, please roll for battle traits, never pick.
No, that's the coward's way.
It's the coward's way. You don't want to be a coward.
No.
All right, let's move on to the flavorful shit here. It's called Territorial Dominance, and it is the new wrinkle for Dark Eldar. I guess Drukari. I keep saying fucking Dark Eldar.
You can say Dark Eldar. It's fine.
Crusade armies. This is the good shit.
Yeah,
all right?
This is my favorite thing in this or maybe any codex.
It's so cool. So the first thing you got to do is you have to nominate one of your characters as an Ascendant Lord. This does not have to be your warlord, but it is the character that is like taking over territory back in Khemora.
Right, and you can't change your Ascendant Lord unless you remove them from your roster. So unless they're dead, pretty much you have to have the same guy. So you got to really like that Ascendant Lord.
Right. And so generally this is going to be your Archon, I think. But, you know, if people are not using Archons or Archons, they can use a Succubi or Homunculus. Homunculi? I don't know.
Homunculi is the plural.
Yeah. So then you, every time you finish a battle, you roll dice. On a 4-up, you get a raid spoils point. And if you have won that battle, you get an additional raid spoils point, regardless of the result of that dice roll. So you win a battle, get a point. After a battle, roll a 4-up, get a point. So you could get 2 points after a battle. And then, of course, there are ways to get raid spoils points through agendas. The take credit agenda will get you raid spoils points. There are other ways too, but we're not going to go into all of them. But that's just the basic raid spoils point generation system. Okay. You can spend your raid spoils points to dominate territories in Khemora. So, of course, Khemora is this nexus in the Black... No, not the Black Library. The Black Library in the Webway. Thank you. The Black Library is also a different nexus in the Webway. But the Khemora is a nexus in the Webway where all the Drukari live, right? And they strike out through Webway portals to do their raiding and kill people and all that shit. But the Dark Eldar, the Drukari, they only care about Khemora, and they only care about their where they are in the hierarchy of Khemora. So you can spend 1 raid spoil to dominate a territory. And this is great. You roll a dice, okay? You're going to end up rolling 3 dice. 1 to pick one of 2 D66 tables. So we're talking 72 different territories that you can dominate in this through this system. It's a lot, Campbell.
Yeah, it's fucking spoiled for choice here, and of course they've all got wackadoo wild Dark Eldar names.
Yeah, so let's talk about some of these names real quick. There are 72 different. Have you picked some favorites? Because I would love to talk about a few of these.
I was just gonna roll some up.
You son of a bitch! Hit me, baby.
All right, let's see. Let's do. It's gonna be in the first table.
Okay,
and it is going to be a 14.
14?
Yep, that's the Murder Cove.
Yes.
Which is a weapon forge, which we'll get to in a second.
All right. So give me another one. Roll up another one.
I'll be the first table again.
Okay.
First numeral 4, second numeral 6, and that is the Blade Feather Den. It's a Scourge Spire. What do you know?
That one's not as good as the Murder Cove. All right, I'll go. Let's see here. Ooh, second territories table. Very good. We got ourselves a 23, the Skinmongers.
Hell yeah. I saw the Skinmongers open for Cannibal Corpse once.
Skinmongers. That's a pretty good one. All right, we'll do another one. Again, in the second territory table, we got a 20 and a 1 this time. The Whispers.
Ooh,
the Whispers.
Hush, hush. Hell yeah.
Okay, so what these are is the cool way that Drukhari can get campaign effects. Some of these things will accrue to battle effects, but most of these are campaign level effects. And how it works is when you... Okay, so like we said, there are 2 tables, and in each table it's a D66, right? So 6 times 6, 36 different entries. And each 10, in quotes here, are the same thing. So for example, the Murder Cove is a weapon forge, and 11 through 16 are also all weapon forges, right? So when you're rolling up your territories, if you can get to 3 in a category, so if your weapon forges here, you've got 3 of 11 to 16 rather, you get a bonus that you can use in the campaign or in battles. For example, weapon forges, once per battle, if your Ascendant Lord is on the battlefield, you can use 1 War Gear stratagem for 0 command points.
Pretty all right.
Very useful. So let's look at another one of these. Let's look at the Shadow Districts. Shadow Districts, of course, are in Territories Table 2, 31 through 36. And if you've got 3 of those in the update experience point step, each Mandrakes unit that was part of your Crusade army for this battle gains 1 additional experience point. I think Mandrakes got better. They've been terrible for a long time. They do have sick-ass models that happen to be fine cast, but that's cool if you like using Mandrakes. Or it might, influence you, say, hey, my Mandrakes are going to fucking level up pretty quick. I might as well start bringing them.
Yeah, there's a bunch that are just kind of like get a bonus experience point for Cabal Warrior, or for Witches, for Scourges, for Incubi, whatever, and those aren't my favorite. But then you've got ones like Toxin Distilleries, where once per battle, a Cabal unit gets 2+ poison weapons for a turn, which really fucking good. Or Noble Spires, if your Ascendant Lord kills the enemy Warlord in melee combat, you get to use the Pray They Don't Take You Alive stratagem for 0 command points, which means the entire enemy army takes attrition tests at -1. And
shit.
Again, Pray They Don't Take You Alive, that is a hard as hell stratagem name, even if it's only semi-useful.
The one that I think that everybody really wants is Trading Districts. You get 3 Trading Districts. Once after each battle, you can use the Relic Requisition for 0 requisition points. Just stacking relics, baby.
Yeah, it's like, they're all useful. Like, the thing is, if you randomly roll up like, oh, Reavers and Hellions get +1 experience point, it's like, well, shit, my army doesn't have any. Guess I gotta take some.
Guess I gotta paint up some new units.
Yeah, ones like that are...
If you don't have one of every unit... If you don't have one of every unit in your army already, like, what are you fucking doing?
You gotta catch them all, bud.
Gotta catch them.
However, the thing that owns hardest about this is you get to roll a die, and on a 1, there's an assassination attempt on your fucking Aspiring Warlord or whatever, and he just takes
Lord.
Yeah, they just take a battle scar. I love that shit.
It's so good. It's so good. And okay, so there's another way to spend spoils, raid spoils. It's called Spoils of Battle. And these are just alternatives to taking over territories. Once you've taken over a bunch of territories in Khemura, now you can start expanding your abilities for your army. And these are all basically campaign level special rules that you can buy.
Right. Yeah, and they apply to either Archons, Homunculi, or Witches. Again, as basically everything in this book does, it kind of splits down does a 3-way split for each of them, and they're pretty cool.
My favorite in here is called the Deadliest Catch, because that's just kind of funny. If your order battle contains an Ascendant Lord Succubus, which of course is, again, you can upgrade any of your characters to be an Ascendant Lord. Whenever you get a Drukhari Beast unit, you can give it 1 of 4 weapon enhancement battle honors to make them even better in combat. which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And also it makes those kind of fringe fine cast model units maybe a little better. Well, I like the just a replica spoil, which is for a homunculi basically gets a life model decoy where if they die in a game or whatever, or they fail an out of action test, you get to use that one and they count as passing it, but they also don't gain experience points with that battle because that was their clone that died and was in that fight.
Yeah.
Fucking bamboozled. I love it.
Hey, what do you fucking talk about? That wasn't me. Like, what do you mean? You didn't come to the battle? No, I had stuff to do. I don't come to every fucking battle, okay? You got to get on the schedule. I've got a lot of grotesques to, grotesquify. All right, I'm a very busy homunculus.
Got a lot of flesh to smith.
Disgusting. All right, so let's move on. We've got a couple more things in the Old Crusade section here. We got poisoned weapon enhancements. I don't know if you read through these, Campbell, but they're all really fucking good.
Yeah, they're really cool. Like, I love, like, for instance, Agonite, which, rules. You basically feel no pain. Like the secondary saves can't be used on wounds from this weapon, which love it.
Yeah, I like this one, Ice Vein. It slows down the movement of stuff that takes damage from the poison weapons that shoot them, which is great if your Cabinet warriors are sitting on an objective and you see a bunch of orcs staring at you from across the way, and you're like, I don't really want to take a charge this turn, so I'm going to shoot some Ice Vein at them.
Yeah, I really like the extra utility of things that don't just cause damage. It's really neat.
All right, and then we got some new battle scars, and these, again, go through character. There's one for each character, Cabalite, Witch Cult, or Homunculus. And there's some cool stuff in here, Campbell.
Yeah, they do the thing I really like where they have a minus but a plus as well. So, like, the characters can get Insensate, where they have damage taken, but they don't benefit from the Power from Pain special rule, which is a pretty big debuff, but also a pretty cool thing to have on top of it.
Yeah, because they can no longer feel.
Right.
Just like me. Cabinet warriors, they get excommunicated from the Cabal, and they gain the Blades for Hire keyword, which is like incubi and scourges and mandrakes, who aren't, they're not in a cult or a Cabal or a coven, so they do their own thing. So now this unit of Cabinet warriors is just doing their own thing.
Right. Well, witches get biochemical hypershock, which is a hell of a name for a special rule, where you randomly determine 2 combat drugs and take both, but they're also -1 toughness and leadership. So they're just like way too whacked out on combat drugs.
And then finally, Homunculus Coven units gets, I love this, cautionary results, or oops, I made a doopsie. This is great because not all experiments work, Campbell.
No,
not all of them. Each time this model unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. That kind of sucks, but add +1 strength and leadership characteristics to the models in this unit. So a little bit of a trade-off there.
Yeah, I like the trade-offs.
All right, and lastly, we've got some Crusade relics. I'm just going to mention one because it's ridiculous. It is the legendary relic, so it costs 2 requisition points and adds 3 Crusade points to the unit that has it. It's crazy. It's called the Mask of the First Age. You add 1 to the movement, attacks, and wound characteristics of this model. That's already pretty fucking good.
Yep.
But Aura of Dominance, this is where it gets crazy. While a unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time a morale test is made for that unit, you can choose whether that test is passed or failed.
Making your opponent's dudes run rules. And like the stat bonuses from this, stacking with the Soul Trap is insane.
Yes, a Soul Trapped Archon with the Mask of the First Age, with some other nasty weapons. Oh gosh, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, like the other one, there's only 3 in here. One is basically a grenade that can cause a fuckload of mortal wounds, and the other one is the clone field, where if a character is targeted by a melee attack, they get 2 free attacks back, which is pretty cool. But the Mask of the First Age, well, it lives up to its legendary relic status.
This book rules. I'm so happy for Drukhari players. I'm very excited for you to play your friend Cody in some 40k.
Yeah.
So he can completely whip your ass with this book.
I'm looking forward to being destroyed and turned into mulch. This book is so characterful. Like, it's it's inspired, really. Like, the people writing this really gave a shit and really got what Dark Eldar are about, in my opinion.
Absolutely. It's a good time to be a 40k player, Campbell.
Yeah, so I've heard.
Okay. Well, we got to move on.
Yeah, we got to move on from the good times into the bad times.
Well, it's the 40k Badcast, brother. It always ends up bad.
This is true. It's in the name.
All right. Fact or fan fiction, my guy. Hit me.
Ultramar's Honor, Bridge. 20 years after their journey in the Corporolo sector. It's been 20 years since they are in Caprolo sector. It has been added into their recorded history, and now the Ultramar's Honor has been given a title, the ship that travels to another galaxy, because it has traveled to a different galaxy and meet new civilizations, both friend and foe alike, even so far fighting off against immortals and gods. It is armies inside of Ultramar's Honor will be and will always be ready for any encounter for another galaxy's new civilization and life forms, and they will travel to another again. He is the bridge. They have been in the warped for a while. We've been in here for weeks, said Gilliman. How long till we could get out the warp? Then the ship's AI materialized herself. Well, Lord Smurf, 3 more hours and we'll be able to arrive back to Macragge, said Athena. Well, I hope you're right. We would be lucky if we don't lose to another universe, said Gilliman. Athena giggled at that. Then suddenly she, capital B, capital S, became Cirrus. Lord Smurf, it appears the warp creatures are attacking us, said Athena. What? Said Gilliman. We still have our Geller field. He is surprised. Maybe a powerful demon, thought Gilliman. Athena, fire our rear guns, said Gilliman. I'm already on it, Lord Smurf, and the crew have already aware of it and are now loading the gun, said Athena. And not for long, the Ultramar's Honor rear guns and turrets begun to fire. But the demon's a very large tentacle hit the engine. Status report, Athena, said Gilliman. Space Marine quarters. What? A demon are attacking us? Said Nath. Can't we have a rest for a while in our immortal lives? He said, anger that some idiot demon tried to disturb their rest after their training. It appears yes, Nath, and let's go to the bridge, said Commander Ronan Beleza, as he had already run to the armory. Brothers, prepare for combat and for a possible demonic boarding action, shouted Ronan. Every mortal space marine and custodes prepared.
Okay, I don't want to hear any more of that, if that's okay with you.
That's okay. There were many good breaks for this.
Were the demons, is this like some stupid crossover fan fiction?
It's not a crossover that you would think based on how far I've gotten in here.
Really? I would have imagined, when they said like, warp demons, but the Geller field, it would be like, Care Bears or something.
No. I mean, like, it's very clear the AI is just a fucking knockoff Cortana from Halo. But, this, they do go to a planet that, you made your one guess, it's Care Bears. No, they go to Warhammer Fantasy Planet. Not the old world, but Warhammer Fantasy Planet. And you get every single faction, including Emperor Karl Frand, saying, oh no, what are these comets? There's something bad. Because, they crashed there. And yes, you guess it, it is crossover, it is fan fiction. That is Stranded on an Unknown Universe, a 40k meets fantasy, Chapter 1, Crash Land by Ronan Beleza 123. If you were paying attention, you'd know that is the name of the Space Marine who yelled at the dude. And I'm just going to send over to you real quick. They went so far as to have some really nice custom art they made for this. If you want to look at your Discord real quick at this wonderful fucking title image that does say same gods, but 2 different universe, Warhammer 40k, X Fantasy, and yes, that is all in Arial blue font over a couple JPEGs.
Graphic design is my passion.
Indeed.
Well, all right, Campbell. Thanks for that, bud.
Of course, you're welcome.
That's always a fun time here on the 40k Badcast. Let's do some plugs and let's get the hell out of here. First, I'm gonna start with email this time, bud. We already talked about it. I'm gonna talk about it a little more because we got a fresh email today from a listener named Gordon McLean, who wrote in to tell me that Mini Coopers are no longer made in England or English engineering. They've been owned by BMW apparently for 20 years. It's German engineering. Hey, Gordon, they still suck. And so do BMWs, but mostly BMW drivers. Fight me.
Hell yeah. Miss those Kleiner Coopers.
Listen, man. Or I'm sorry, I should say, listen, listeners. Listen, horn dogs. If you want to get mad at me and like actually have me read you being mad at me, contact the 40k Badcast. That's the one. .com. I should probably put the .com in there. Contact the 40kbadcast.com. Email us. We want to hear from you. We want to see pictures of your models. We want to see pictures of your pets. And please correct me on every factual error I get wrong, on the show, because, I care about that.
Yeah, but if you want to correct Dan or me on factual errors in a pithy way that neither of us will extremely care about, you can check us out on Twitter. Dan is at DB_sleazy, and I'm at BrotherSRM, where I post pictures of models and extremely lukewarm takes, and Dan retweets things that make him mad, I guess.
Have I been doing that? I guess I did a couple of that last week, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's what Twitter's good for.
It's Twitter. It's real bad. It's
well,
just bad times all around.
Well, speaking of real bad, we are also on Facebook at facebook.com/40k Badcast, where you can keep up to date with show goings on, see pictures of stuff. It's just fucking podcast Facebook. You know how these work by now. But if you do want to support us in a way that isn't just using your precious limited time on this planet and want to sacrifice your precious limited time on this planet as well as your precious limited income, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/40k Badcast.
Yeah, if you don't have enough bad in your life and you want some more, that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, we haven't got an April one out yet, but we will soon. And we just recently released March Badness, which was a ton of fun. And a ton of people have wrote into us to tell us that we are wrong, which is exactly what we're looking for here.
March Badness is easily the best show we do each year.
Absolutely. And it's not quite as painful as doing ICP retrospectives.
No, it's not.
Few things are.
Oh, we're going to probably have to do another one of those soon, aren't we?
It's the way of things.
Oh,
yeah.
God. Other than that, we have a spread shirt. You can buy shirts. You can buy an apron with my, maybe not my face, but at least Campbell's interpretation of my face printed on it. And you can buy stickers. And that's our Spreadshirt shop, which I don't know the URL for, but Campbell does.
Shop.spreadshirt.com/40k Badcast. And get those stickers, do cool crimes, make us proud.
Yeah. Crimes, baby. Do them. All right, Campbell. It's time for a quote. Let's set the stage for the end music.
All right. Well, this one goes... Sure. This one goes out to all you folks who've been quarantining, staying at home, and wearing a mask for the past year and change. Better a year of pain in the Emperor's service than a day of comfort in cowardice.
Oh, man, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that one a lot. All right, gang. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. We are the 40k Badcast. We are bad at an entire cornucopia. Where is it? Fuck you, Baltimore! Of things, but we are especially bad at 40k, and you can too. And gang, we'll see you in the next cartoon. Fuck you, Baltimore!
Fuck you, Voldemort, indeed.